We are live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, viewers. I am once again your host, Colonel Tyagveer Raghav, on my next episode of Win Life Like a Warrior. As I always keep mentioning that winning life like a warrior doesn't mean that every time you have to go to the battlefield and fight with arms and ammunition. What I mean to say is that you have to fight the demons within you. And the demons are that your limiting beliefs, your self-sabotaging traits, and your ignorance, your fear of failures. There are many demons within you which you have to fight. And if you can do that, I'm sure that you will be winning your life like a warrior. In this sequence, that what I keep calling the people from the public life, those who have fought their demons and fought their life, the initial challenges, and finally they are living like a warrior. Whether in the uniform or in the civil street, they are finally beaten all the demons within themselves, and then they are the winner. So I have got a small framework to how to win life like a warrior. And when I call it a warrior, means W means you should have a winning mindset. And the next letter is warrior. A is you should have attitude of gratitude. And the next letter R is that remove all the clutter from your life, then you will be winning the life. And thereafter you get reinvented your life. After achieving these three stages, you are reinventing your life. The next letter is that I. You should be the person who is inspiring others or impacting the life of others. And then finally, the letter O is that overcome your procrastination from your life if you want to achieve something great. And at the end, there is a R, letter R, which is, I say it, roti, that is return on time invested. So whatever you do, and after achieving this, all the 6 stages, you will achieve all the return on the time which you have invested. And that is what the warrior, I define it. So in that sequence today with me is another warrior who was a warrior in the true sense. He was ex-veteran from army. Now he's a editor-in-chief of Chanakya Forum. He has been a prolific speaker, writer. He's not only that, he has spoken in the British Parliament. He has spoken at Oxford University. And let me welcome on behalf of me and my audience, Major Gaurav Arya. You are welcome to the show Win Life Like a Warrior.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
So, Gaurav, to start with, let me just say that in the initial days of his schooling, Gaurav, I read somewhere that you were quite fearful of stage and even speaking in the public. But now you are a very good speaker, writer, everything is there. But one thing which was there in your initial days as a student, that you were a prolific reader. You were a very fast reader and very interested in reading the books. And the readers are always leaders. That is what I believe in. So would you tell something about your initial days as a student?
So the first school that I went to is St. Mary's in Aizawl. And I was very small at that point in time, class 1, class 2. But in class 3, I was shifted to St. Edmund's College in Shillong, sir. St. Edmund's Shillong is one of the premier schools of the Northeast. Since my father at that time was posted in Mizoram, so I was sent to Shillong, sir. And there this reading habit picked up. In a very, very small way. I was very young. But I was studying in a hostel, sir, at that point in time. So the reading habit picked up, and this reading habit further, when father got transferred to Delhi, I was there. And in various schools in Delhi, I picked up this reading habit, and then on and on, it never left me. I've always been a voracious reader, sir. I've read everything, and there are no particular topics on which I read everything that comes to the written word has great fascination for me. And I keep on reading everything, because one thing I believe in, sir, that input is equal to output. You know, you can only speak what you know. If you know something, it is only then that you will be able to speak about it. If you don't know it, then you will not be able to speak. And how will you know? Either you know by experience or you know by reading. So this is what I started. So I read a lot, sir. I still read a lot. and I continue to read, sir. And that is how this hesitation of speaking on stage has disappeared. And today I'm fairly comfortable speaking on stage, sir. And that is how it started. Yes.
I fully agree with you, Gaurav, that means unless you have a knowledge, you can't talk about that. And the knowledge you can gain from either reading the books or the experience. Wonderful things. I think the reader must understand that, what Gaurav has said. Gaurav, thereafter, after the schooling, you finally went to the college, and that is St. Stephen College. And one thing I know about the St. Stephen, that it is not only the marks of 12th class which makes you to get admission. I have interacted many students and many parents. It is something that there has to be some X factor. Marks is one side, but at the same time, one has to have that X factor. Then only they select the student to give admission as far as St. Stephen's is concerned. In other colleges, there is simply the marks if you are in the merit cutoff and you are taken. But St. Stephen has got a little different way of shortlisting the student for their courses. So would you just like to share, those who are listening, that what was that X factor in you which made you to get the admission in the St. Stephen?
So during our time, there used to be a very rigorous interview, sir.
Yeah.
I don't know whether they have the interview now. I joined St. Stephen's in 1989, sir.
It's still there.
So,
it is still there.
No, sir, but now a lot of people, they've gone to court and, pressurizing of the University Grants Commission and Delhi University saying that no, the marks should matter. And so a lot of things have changed over a period of time. I'm sure the interview is still there, sir. But during our time, it was the interview where there were at least, I remember, 4 or 5 people, teachers of history. And I think the principal was also there, and 3 teachers of history and 1 more. They were there in front, and they were questioning me about history, and the questions were just going back and forth, and they built up a lot of pressure. And at that point in time, I don't remember very much, sir. It was, I think, more than 30 years back. But that is how it happened, sir. And then I came to know that I had gotten through, and I spent 3 lovely years in college, sir. Three fantastic years in college, and after that, I joined the army, sir.
I know. In fact, so that I'm sure that your reading habits, what you developed in your childhood and the schooling time, that certainly helped you in cracking that interview. Because
absolutely, sir.
Yeah. That is obvious that helped you, and that is what we call it. Readers are leaders, and knowledge always helps you. Gaurav, your dad was an IPS officer and of an excellence, and he was a DG BSF, DG ITBP, and also the DG Police of Madhya Pradesh. But finally, after the graduation, you decided to join the army. Means normally that people follow the footsteps of the parents, and even the parents also inspired that you should go civil services is always a craze. And especially the St. Stephens, normally either they go in politics or they go civil services. There's one of the. But you chosen the army service. Is there any basic fundamental reason for that, or you always wanted to love that?
No, sir, I was fascinated with the uniform, sir. In fact, there was no reason for joining the army. I just wanted to. There was this fascination with the army uniform, and there was this fascination with wearing olive green, sir. It started with that. So there is no logic. I did not think about it. There was a very deep-rooted passion that yahin pe jana hai, I have to do this. Somehow I have to wear this uniform, and I just started working towards that goal, sir. I started getting up in the morning. I started exercising. I started reading. I started brushing up on my general knowledge. I found out, because during our time there was no internet, sir. So I found out from various people, ex-army officers, and they said there is something called SSB, and you have to go there, and there is something called group task, and there is something called interview, and all these things seemed very new, sir. So that is how I found out, and that's it, sir. That's pretty much it. Just the passion for the uniform, nothing else.
Oh, fantastic! No, of course that uniform. In fact, there is a police also uniform. There are other uniforms also there, but olive green passion is something different, and But somewhere I have read or heard that in any of your discussion that you wanted that you don't want to struggle studying more, because I think civil services one has to study too much, and the army is easier. That is what you found.
No, it's not easier, sir. Basically, what happened was that I was under the impression that in the army you don't have to study. In the army you have to study after you get selected, sir. So there is a lot of study in the army, and it never stops.
Which is other way around.
Yeah. Yes, it is the other way around. In the civil services, you study once, and once you have studied,
I know
that is 99% of your study you have finished, and once you're through the IAS or the IPS, then you have reached a certain level. But here in the army, sir, after the academy, your studies actually start. You start with Part B, you do Part D, sir. You do your VIO course, and then you do your junior command, and it never stops.
Staff college and other thing.
Yes, sir. It keeps on going on and on and on and on and on in the army, and every year you go for a course or two, and the army is perpetually training you, sir. This I didn't know. So this was a surprise when I joined. I said, "Itni padhai hoti hai yahan pe." They study so much, and they're always either training or studying and training, and that's also. So I was. It was a shock for me because I come from a non-army background, and it was a huge shock for me, sir. Because I always thought that army was more about the physical aspect. But then I realized after joining army that it's also about the mental aspect of the job.
Yes.
Physical aspect is only 30%.
I know.
70% is the intellectual pursuit of excellence.
Absolutely.
And it was. I didn't know that it was. And just imagine, sir, for a person like me who's from a non-technical arm, like non-technical in the sense that I'm from the infantry, sir. I can only imagine the amount of studies people from engineers or signals or EME would do. Must be 10 times more, sir. But it's quite so. That was where I got stuck, sir. I had a wrong impression of the army when I joined.
I know. I can understand your sentiments, Gaurav, because I am technical. I joined as a technical graduate, and I also never thought that after engineering and joining army, you have to again study so much. And I think what I studied in the army, that courses, means if it is a 9-month course, the syllabus is equivalent to 3 years. I mean, they compress so much in that such a short period that your मतलब भेजा फटने वाली बात हो जाती है. So we have also gone through that, and I think the experience same. And I'll tell the viewers, those who are listening, don't go ever with the idea that you don't have to study there. And what Gaurav said, that 70% is the intellectual thing if you want to succeed in the career as an army. So rightly brought out, Gaurav. Gaurav, I believe that after you joined the academy and you were from St. Stephen, the culture is different, means the style is different, and academy is altogether different ball game, whether it is physique, whether it is your living style, or whether it is everything. So how did you manage there? There must be stories behind that.
So it was a big shock, sir, because I had always been brought up in the lap of luxuries.
I know.
And when I joined, my father was DG ITBP, sir. When I joined the academy, and I just went to the academy, and it was like such a big shock. And I could not keep up, sir, and I failed all my tests, sir. Initially, all my tests in the academy, I failed. I failed my physical tests. I failed every. The drill square test also, and the PPET, everything, sir. I mean, all the tests that OTA had ever devised in its history, without exception, I failed all the tests, sir. And there was a time when I wanted to leave the academy, sir. And all these tests that I failed were not just physical tests, they were also academic tests. So everything. Let's say if there were 10 tests, so 10 out of 10, so the record was 10 out of 10. So yes, it was quite bad because I could not. It wasn't that I wasn't able to understand. It was the sheer culture shock. So because I came from a different environment altogether, and here in the army, it's very push you right from 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's like a shock if you're not used to it, or if you're not mentally prepared for such a shock. It can overwhelm you, especially
Yes.
OTA. Sir, OTA is, again, like you mentioned, sir, 3 years into 9 months. Sir, you just mentioned OTA is the same course in 11 months. So in OTA there is no respite, so they keep the foot on the accelerator always. Plus the weather of Madras. Now it's called Chennai, sir. During our time it was Madras. Sir. And day and night, sir. And at night, once you are very tired, then the seniors would catch you at night. Sir. So this was terrible, and there was a time when I wanted to give up, sir. I just wanted to leave the academy. Many a time I thought I'll call up my parents and I'll say that I cannot do this. And I promised to try and study for civil services examinations. मुझे यहाँ से निकालिए आप लोग, और मेरे बस का नहीं है ये academy, तो ये तो फौजी जान से मार देंगे मुझे. So, but then it was my course mate, sir, who helped me. I'm from Jasami company, sir.
I know.
From Jasami 13, and I'd like to mention, sir, my there's Amardeep Singh Bali, sir.
Okay.
Amardeep Singh Bali, he's a colonel now, so he's a serving colonel, sir.
Okay.
Amardeep Singh Bali commanded 10 Siglai, sir. He helped me, sir. He helped me a lot. Then there's Colonel A.P. Sinha. He's from 14 Bihar, sir. Currently in Danapur, sir. Okay. He helped me, sir. He helped me. There is Arnab Chakrabarti, sir, who left the army long back. Okay. And Arnab Chakrabarti is now working for a big Indian multinational. He's based out of Calcutta, sir.
Okay.
So Arnab Chakrabarti, he helped me. And there's Ajit Chauhan, who's now in Indonesia. Ajit was my buddy. So all these people, sir, they like Bali and Sinha and Chakrabarti, sir, Arnab Chakrabarti, they actually carried my pack, sir.
I know.
They carried my weapon. And had it not been for these people, sir, I would have left the academy in the first 2 months, sir. They were the ones who said, "Ki, nahi yaar, himmat nahi harni, chinta mat kar, hum tere saath hain." And they actually ran. And all these people, sir, I remember, because all 4 of them, they were physically very fit, sir. Bali was excellent, sir. He was excellent.
Okay.
Arnab Chakrabarti was excellent. Sinha was excellent. Ajit Chauhan, sir, he was excellent, sir.
Okay.
And I was the one failing all the tests, and they deliberately ran slowly to help me.
Yeah. Okay. That is the team spirit.
Yes, sir. And no, more than team spirit, sir, because these are the people that really helped me. And today, sir, I still remember those days in the academy that had it not been for these people, sir, I would not have managed to pass first term.
I know.
They would have sent me back, sir. Because OTA ने मुझ जैसा नमूना कभी नहीं देखा था, सर, अपने इतने years of experience. OTA must have thought, ये कौन आ गया? ये तो star है कोई बड़े level का, sir. And sir, I don't know, sir. I'll just, with your permission, I'd like to mention. I don't know if you might have heard of. He's very famous, sir. Colonel Lalit Rai, sir, Veer Chakra.
Okay.
He got Veer Chakra in Kargil, sir.
Okay.
He's from 11 Gorkhas, and he's from the same unit, sir, Captain Manoj Pandey, sir, Paramveer Chakra.
Okay.
So in fact, he was Captain Manoj Pandey's CO, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And a war hero, sir. He at that time was Major Lalit Rai. He was our adjutant, sir.
Okay.
And after failing DST 4 times, sir.
I know.
I failed DST 4 times. So on the 5th time, मुझे लग रहा था कि even the adjutant must be thinking, sir, at that time Major Lalit Rai must be thinking, what sort of a clown is this? I mean, what should I do with him? Because he was. But then, sir, with the help of all the instructors, the officers and all that, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir. And in the second term, sir, I slowly, with the help of everybody, with the morale boosting and with the physical and the mental pressure of the academy, sir.
Yeah.
In the second term, sir, I started clearing all my tests in good and excellent.
Absolutely.
वो शुरू हो गया, sir.
Yeah.
It took me time to adjust, but then I went for it and हो गया, sir.
It is Gaurav. It is only the mental setup and the mindset which makes you the winner. And finally, camaraderie, of course, camaraderie. This is what the academy teaches you. This is what it teaches you, whether in the war and peace, how you can take along all the comrades with you. Means just winning single is of no use unless you take the entire team along with you. And that is what in all academy done. And as far as DST is concerned, Gaurav, I don't see anybody passes in first attempt. I too never pass in the first attempt. And we being the technical, you know that the many of us who joined academy and after certain period, they expected that once they reach there, they will get it orderly, they will get a vehicle transport. And once they all got delusioned, thereafter 4 or 5 of them run away in the first or second week only. So it happens in majority of them. But yes, of course, the one who persists and one who take a challenge, and then the academy makes a man out of a boy, and that is what we are there today. So wonderful listening this, and it's not exception to you. There are many more people like which goes through that, and finally they come out as a winner and as a warrior, and that is what you are today.
Sure.
Gaurav, in fact, after the academy experience and finally that selection of arms and everything happens, and you were wanting to join as usual, which everybody wished for it, join the armored corps because of flamboyance and all other paraphernalia attached to it. But you became a casualty. That is what we call it, a casualty, because you don't get what you have filled up and what you are looking for. So what is that situation when you didn't get the armored and you landed up in infantry?
No, sir. I did not become a casualty.
Okay.
What happened with me was something very different, sir, very unique.
Okay.
What happened was that, sir, actually I was filling up for, I wanted to join 61st Cavalry, sir.
Okay.
And I had taken part in various equestrian competitions, sir.
Okay.
And I was a good horse rider. And
so that horse rider, you were good from your college time only?
School time, sir.
School time.
I was taught by instructors in BSF Academy taken course, sir, where my father was.
Yeah.
So excellent instructors, sir. Great horses, great infrastructure, and we learned riding. All the kids there learned riding. I also learned with them. So I started show jumping and going for some competitions here and there, and I was very keen that I'll join 61st Cavalry. Now what happened was that, sir, I was very clear I did not want to go to the infantry.
Okay.
I was very clear I wanted to go to 61st Cavalry. Now, sir, Amardeep Singh Bali and Anand Prakash Sinha, they were the people who emotionally blackmailed me because both were infantry officers.
Emotionally.
And they blackmailed me. And Bali stopped talking, sir. Bali stopped talking. I said, what's wrong with him? He's not talking to me. Bali stopped talking. Sinha also stopped talking. Sir, ye dono badmaash hain ye. They said, you have to you have to opt for infantry. So I did not opt for infantry, sir, because I was convinced I must go to the infantry.
Okay.
They pressurized me into opting for infantry. So I opted for infantry.
Okay.
Inke chalte hua, sir.
Oh.
So I said, okay, I'll go. So, but at the back of my mind, I thought that because I was not high in merit, sir.
Okay.
And because I had these certificates with me for horse riding and all that, and I was known that, okay, this is a guy who can ride horses very well. And the instructor there, sir, I think his name was Colonel Kalra, sir, or something. I'm sorry if I'm missing. There's something with my memory, sir, if I'm missing his name. Sorry, sir, but I thought that somehow, 61 Cavalry will be managed.
Yeah.
Because in my own mind, today I realized, sir, I was a very average horse rider.
Yeah.
But at that time, I thought that I was India's next
okay.
riding name. Bache the, sir, akal bhi nahi thi itne.
I know.
You don't have that kind of mental this thing.
That exposure.
And that exposure, you don't know the truth, the reality of life, sir.
Correct.
Just because you can sit on a horse and make it canter and gallop, you think that you're the cat's whiskers, and 61 Cavalry will wait with the garland to welcome you to the units. What a great talent has come. So, but क्या हुआ कि 61st Cavalry हुई नहीं सब तो events of Major Lalit Rao sitting on the stage, and all these officers were sitting, and I went and I saluted, and after saluting, sir, I said GC 18110. Gaurav Arya. So he said, GC 18110, you have been commissioned into 17th Battalion. So then I suddenly thought, sir, ki armored mein to battalion to hoti nahi hai. Ye kyun? Why are they saying 17th Battalion? So why there is no battalion in armored, sir? So he says, the Kumaon Regiment. And I saluted and I came out, sir, and the both Bali and Sinha were very happy. So because these crooks wanted that only. So they were very happy. They were very happy, sir, Bali and Sinha. Bali got Siklai, sir. Sinha got Bihar. इनको अपना choice मिल गया. अच्छा, I was not a casualty, yet a casualty, sir, because
I know.
61st Cavalry की picture चल रही थी. But the person who was actually very shocked, sir, was the drill instructor, sir. Subedar Inder Singh of 3 Kumaon Rifles, sir.
I know.
Subedar Inder Singh of 3 Kumaon Rifles, he was really shocked, sir.
I know.
He was not expecting, because he was that, Kumaon Regiment ऐसी है, and ये हमारा है, और 3 chiefs दिए हैं, 2 परमवीर चक्र दिए हैं, हमारे drill का standard, weapon का, sir, how infantry regiments are.
I know.
Extremely, बड़े OG type के, very proud. And sir, he was shocked that, यार, Gaurav Arya cannot come to Kumaon, हमारी regiment बर्बाद करके मानेगा लड़का, इसको तो ये कहाँ से आ गया? And he was very shocked. You know what he said, sir? You'll be surprised. He actually said that, he says, GC, कौन सी regiment में गया? I said, sir, Kumaon Regiment में. And he says that he was shocked. And for 2 minutes, sir, he didn't say anything. And then he said, चलो, GC, होनी को कौन टाल सकता है? अब जो हो गया सो हो गया. It was कि जैसे कि उनके गांव में सुनामी आ गई होगी ना. So he was, because when you say Kumaon Regiment, sir, you want the cream.
Yeah,
you say,
right.
That Kumaon Regiment type ka. He said, yaar, ye banda kahan se aa gaya Kumaon mein?
Yeah.
I developed pride for the regiment when I went into the unit, sir.
Yeah, I know.
जब मैं 17 Kumaon गया, sir.
Yeah.
Then I realized that what does it mean to be a Kumaoni?
Yes.
What is a regiment? What is a Paltan? Uske pehle I had no idea, sir. And then I realized that is how the love for the unit, the love for the regiment came. It came later, sir.
I know. Brigadier Shaitan Singh was part of, I think, one of the Kumaon Regiment, Kumaon Battalion.
Major Shaitan Singh, sir, 13 Kumaon. Major Shaitan Singh, sir, Battle of Rizangla, sir.
Yeah, yes.
13 Kumaon, sir, Charlie Company, sir.
Yeah. So those
Charlie
prides, in fact, all regimentation depends on that only. We take a pride in our regimentation that, yes, what all we have achieved. And that's why they look for that. And of course, that JCO, who was probably your DST Ustad or something. And
yes, sir. He was shocked, sir.
Yeah, he was shocked, but he means circumstances, उसने situation से अपना कर लिया कि भाई हाँ
समझौता. But sir, one day before POP, sir, I remember, sir, that day, one day before POP, you get the day off, sir, for maintenance and all that, sir. Ek din practice nahi hoti, sir, ek din pehle.
Yeah.
It was then he came outside the barracks, sir, and he said, GC Gaurav Arya. I said, पता नहीं क्या front roll ही होगा अभी तो क्या होगा. So I went to him and मैं गया वहाँ पे सावधान पे खड़ा हो गया. He says, then he told me, so he spent 15-20 minutes with me, and then he told me, he says, GC, आपका कमीशन कुमाऊं रेजिमेंट में हुआ है, और मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ कि इस रेजिमेंट ने इस आर्मी को 3 आर्मी चीफ दिए हैं, और मैं आज आपको एक छोटी सी कहानी सुनाऊंगा. तो आई सेड, चलो कहानी सुना रहा है ये तो मतलब फ्रंट रोल नहीं होगा मेरा, मतलब कहानी तो सुन लेंगे. कहानी क्या सर, हमने सीनियर्स के तरह मॉरल लेक्चर सुने, सर एक कहानी और सुन लेंगे.
सही बात है.
इंदर सिंह साहब की, सुबेदार इंदर सिंह साहब 3 कुमाऊं के.
Okay.
And that is the time when Subedar Inder Singh told me the story of the Battle of Rizangla and Major Shaitan Singh, sir. मुझे नहीं पता था कि चुशूल सेक्टर क्या होता है, मुझे नहीं पता था कि ईस्ट लद्दाख क्या है, मुझे नहीं पता था कि मेजर शैतान सिंह कौन है, 13 कुमाऊं क्या है, रिजांगला कौन सी, मुझे कुछ नहीं पता था. It was that day, and I remember that day, sir, when he was telling me the story and I was listening to him, and that day I was just thinking, and even during the POP, sir, while we were marching, even while I was marching, sir, and even when I was commissioned and when I went to the unit, all the time I was thinking about one thing, that how can 122 soldiers fight against 3,000 Chinese. How is it possible?
Yes.
ये होगा कैसे हो गया ये? And this question, sir. And then I went to the unit and then I asked my CO during the interview. He said, sit down, have a cup of coffee. Colonel Pathak हुआ करते थे सर हमारे. God bless his soul, sir. He's no more.
Okay.
Colonel Pathak used to be the first CO, and Colonel Pathak was a very, very fine gentleman, sir.
Okay.
Typical पुराने type के जो COs हैं ना sir.
Yeah, I know. Fatherly figure.
आजकल तो youngsters आ गए सर, बड़े बड़े CO.
I know.
So today COs also look like young majors, sir.
I agree.
During that time, sir, Colonel Pathak, old timer CO, and he explained to me, and then he said that, and then he took me to the mess, sir. And in the mess, he said that all this, you see all this unit silver, Gaurav. I said, yes, sir. He says, this is yours. I said, sir, I'm sorry, I've not understood. He says, Gaurav, this is not just silver. This is the history of your unit, and these are the names of the men who have sacrificed their lives.
Yes.
For the regiment, for the Paltan, for the country, and it is youngsters like you who have to take the name of the unit forward. वहाँ से regimentation शुरू हुआ, sir. मेरे जो पहले company commanders, my first company commander was at that time Major D.S. Rawat, now Colonel D.S. Rawat, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Colonel D.S. Rawat, sir, and Colonel D.S. Rawat, and then at that time Lieutenant R.K. Anuj, now Colonel R.K. Anuj, sir, who is my senior subaltern.
Okay.
सुबेदार मेजर साहब थे सर, SM हंसादत्त साहब. तो इन सब ने सर बहुत सिखाया मुझे.
Naturally. Actually, you learn from your, I think, senior subalterns and your subedar majors and all. These are the guys who, when you go as a youngster, these are the one who teaches you like your child, and you grow with them. And I agree with you that real learning starts once you join the unit. There is no doubt.
But अभी सर एक चीज और मैं जाता हूँ सर units में ना, various army.
I know, I seen that.
फौज बदल गई है सर अभी ना. It's different. अभी तो क्या senior subaltern दिखता नहीं है कुछ. वो बेचारा वो youngster सर 4 महीने की नौकरी वाला सर, वो भी पता नहीं क्या वो कभी किसी में लगा हुआ है, कभी किसी कागजी कार्रवाई में लगा हुआ है. हम तो just imagine sir, at that age, while हमें CO की शक्ल तो बहुत कम दिखाई दी सर.
I agree, बिल्कुल. Because it was only 2IC, at the most 2IC or adjutant.
हमारे तो senior subaltern ही sort out करते सर हमें. And company commander in office, and
yes.
But the confidence that I got, sir, that is from my unit, sir. मेरी unit में sir, I'll tell you, sir, a lot of, and there is a personal thing that I would like to share.
Yeah, please.
A lot of in the army, sir, कभी-कभी ऐसा होता है कि ex-NDA है, कोई direct entry है, कोई technical है, कोई short service है, and depending on the person that you're interacting with, he might have a different reaction to you.
Yeah.
Yes. So there is a Rimkolian, there is a guy from Sainik School, or some Georgian, or you know how it is in the fort, sir.
Yes.
There is a fraternity. In my unit, sir, Satra Kumaon, I was never made to feel that I am any different from. हम तो सर शेर होते थे, ऊपर वाला बटन खुला रहता था, आज भी खुला है सर. यूनिट में तो वी वर टाइगर्स. और सर मैंने अपनी यूनिट में, मैं आपको बताता हूँ सर, मैंने अपनी यूनिट में ऐसी गलतियां करी हैं. आई हैव क्रिएटेड सच ब्लंडर्स एज अ यंगस्टर.
आई नो
दैट सर मैंने एक बार आरसीएल गन छोड़ दी थी सर एक्सरसाइज में.
दैट इज द वे यू लर्न
सर. 106 mm आरसीएल गन ऑन माउंटेड ऑन जोंगा सर. मैंने I remember Captain Pillai at that time used to be the quartermaster. Captain Pillai को बोला था इसका photo of inquiry करो, मैंने क्या कर दिया sir. And so many things, mistakes I committed, but
so you forgot in the exercise or what?
Not exercise sir. कुछ ऐसा हुआ कि उसमें जो हमारा पूरा डेट था ना सर आरसीएल का, वो इधर चला गया. I was with it, मैं भी चला गया सर. I don't know what happened sir. I got confused. I lost my way. Exercise area Punjab में.
Okay.
The fact of the matter is, sir, that the kind of support that I got from my seniors in the unit, sir, they never made me realize
scapegoat.
that I'm not only scapegoat, sir. मतलब एक जो कहते हैं ना कि ये एक जैसे सगा भाई होता है ना सर.
वही camaraderie and bond होनी. Yes, that's what it is.
डांट भी बड़ी पड़ती थी, ऐसी बात नहीं है सर। बट 1 बजे सर सीनियर सबॉर्डिनेट के साथ वहां पे मेस में जाना, एक एक जिन लगाना, 2-2 जिन लगाना, फिट से सब गिला शिकवा माफ, शाम को इवनिंग गेम शुरू।
यस।
अब एंड हमने तो वही देखा था सर। बाद में when I went for some courses and I saw then people spoke about नहीं, this entry, that entry, ex-NDA and direct entry, technical entry. हमने तो कभी 17 कुमाऊं में सुना ही नहीं है सब। जैसे मेरी क्लास लग रही होती थी, अनुज सर इज ex-NDA, अनुज सर की वैसी क्लास लग रही होती थी।
गौरव, एक चीज और मैं पूछना चाहूंगा कि when you were on I think some sector in the LAC line of control where you accidentally had a fall and got buried into the snow and this thing, and finally you have, had a medical issues. What was that situation? क्या मतलब, how it happened? Would you like to share that?
सर था कुछ भी नहीं सर। वो बात ये थी कि मैं ब्रावो कंपनी के साथ था सर। there is a post called ship killer.
Okay.
In
and where is this? Where it is?
सर लाहौल स्पीति सर।
Okay.
एक पू है सर, एक छोटा सा टाउन है सर, पू।
Okay.
हिमाचल प्रदेश में।
Okay.
ऊपर शिमला से 2 दिन लगते हैं सर पू पहुंचने में।
Okay. Okay. Okay.
पू से जाते हैं खाब
Okay.
से पैदल चलना होता है 7-8 घंटा शिप किलर से।
Okay. I remember now.
Sir, this is called 36 sector, sir, sugar sector भी बोलते हैं उसको। तो I was ship killer company commander.
Okay.
तो इंटरनेट पे पता नहीं क्या लोगों ने बोल दिया कि बड़ी बहादुरी से लड़े। कोई लड़े बड़े नहीं सर, मेरा पैर फिसल गया था। क्या हुआ कि मेरे सामने जेसीओ साहब थे।
Okay.
Senior JCO, and he was mountain warfare qualified.
Okay.
और एक्सपीरियंस पहले 1-2 एल्टीट्यूड काटे होंगे सर।
Okay.
हम तो यंगस्टर सर, लाइक पॉपकॉर्न जैसे यंगस्टर होते हैं इंडियन आर्मी के। ये पहाड़ को ऐसे मारूंगा तो पहाड़ हिल जाएगा, ऐसे करूंगा तो दरिया मुड़ जाएगा। वो दिमाग वैसे रहता है ना फौज में सर यंगस्टर्स का।
Initially.
So initially that you're full of that so much of adrenaline in the
josh and energy. Yes.
हाँ सर। और
and that is needed, Gaurav. I must say that is needed to fight in the real war. If you don't have that kind, you can't. You couldn't have won the war like Kargil.
Yes sir. तो उसमें सर क्या हो गया कि he was walking in front सा, बड़ा संकरा सा रास्ता था, पतला सा था, 2-2.5-3 फुट का। उसमें हम 4-5 लोग चल रहे थे। तो एक नीचे ऐसी ढलान थी सर पूरी, और एक तरफ पूरा ऐसे दीवार थी पूरी बर्फ की, और पूरा जमीन पर बर्फ थी। तो एक जगह जेसीओ साहब रुक गए, एंड ही सेड रुको, एंड हम लोग 5 मिनट वहां पे रुके रहे। तो आई सेड क्या साहब बात क्या हो गई? कह रहे साहब आराम से, यहाँ पे बहुत आराम से। तो मैंने बोला क्या साहब आप, मैंने मजाक में बोला क्या साहब आप डर गए? तो ही टर्न अराउंड एंड ही टोल्ड मी समथिंग व्हिच आई विल नेवर फॉरगेट। ही सेड साहब नेचर जो है ना, प्रकृति, उससे कभी पंगे मत लेना।
very right point, very right.
And he told me there, he said साहब इससे कोई जीता नहीं है। you cannot win against nature.
Yes, universe you can't fight. Yes
sir. अब क्या हुआ कि हमारे तो दिमाग खराब थे सर उस वक्त। अरे मैंने बोला साहब आप हटो पीछे, मैं जाता हूँ। तो मैं तो सर उस समय सर टार्जन प्लस जेम्स बॉन्ड प्लस जेसन बॉन्ड प्लस सुपरमैन सब तो अपने आप को समझते थे सर हम। तो हम गए पीछे, जैसे आगे गया पैर स्लिप हुआ, नीचे गिरा सर मैं। आई फेल डाउन सर, अराउंड 300-400 फुट सीधा नीचे गया सर मैं। बट मैं लेज पे अटका, एक लेज पे, और नीचे वो सतलज रिवर था सर, लंचन कबाब बोलते हैं वहां पे।
ओके।
हजारों फुट के ड्रॉप के बाद सतलज रिवर था, मैं किसी तरीके से फंस गया। तो आई वाज कवर्ड अंडर स्नो सर। मेरे वहां पे कुछ टाइम तक रहा वहां पे, तब ये लोग नीचे आए, इन लोगों ने मुझे बचाया सर, जो ब्रावो कंपनी के लोग थे। और वो ब्रावो कंपनी के लोग मुझे नहीं बचाते सर, मैं उधर मर जाता ठंड से। कोल्ड सर, और मुझे नींद सी आ रही थी। तो देवर सिंह के साथ सोना मत। तो देन एनीवे सर, तो लंग्स इंपैक्ट हो गई सर। आई वाज लो मेडिकल कैटेगरी फॉर अ व्हाइल।
Okay.
After which I left the army on my own. I did not leave the army, sir, because I was a permanent low medical category. That is not true.
Okay.
I was not a permanent low medical category.
Okay.
I was a temporary low medical category. और फिर देखते, फिर कैटेगरी अप कर देते सर। उसमें आपको पता है फौज में क्या होता है, वो कैटेगरी अप कर देते। लेकिन उस समय मुझे लगा नहीं यार ये क्या है यार, यहाँ पे ये है दुनिया भर का। So again, then my struggle in the civil street started after that.
I know. So that is the next thing, that once you were out, naturally you were like a warrior in the army as well as, and then after that you came, and then your struggle started to rehabilitate you, especially for the point of job. How did that experience? Because I have read somewhere in your post that with your CVs, you were running pillar to post in Delhi and looking for the job. And so I think the viewers would like to say that how did you overcome those challenges of initial days after leaving the army?
कुछ नहीं सर, बस हार नहीं माननी सर. जैसे कि एकेडमी में स्पीड मार्च होता है ना सर. अगर 50 किलोमीटर का स्पीड मार्च होता है तो 20 किलोमीटर के बाद तो सबका बल फ्यूज हो जाता है सर. नोबडी नोज व्हाट इज हैपनिंग. बट जो निकाल लेता है वो निकाल लेता है, जो नहीं निकाल पाता वो नहीं निकाल पाता सर. I think everybody after 20-25 kilometers, everybody is equally tired.
Yes.
Superman तो कोई होता नहीं है, but it is sheer will. तो मैं भी करता रहा. I found an opening, sir, फिर मैंने कर लिया. But I would like to point out, sir, that my postmates and my units, sir.
Yeah.
Even today, sir, they are a huge pillar of support, sir. My postmates and my this thing, they're a huge pillar of support. And आज मेरे वही जो पोस्टमेट्स है सर, मैं अभी इनको बोल दूंगा कि आई एम इन अ प्रॉब्लम सर. आई कैन टेल यू इफ टुडे इवनिंग आई टेल बाली दार्जिलिंग में है सर, बाली को अभी बोलूंगा ना मुझे प्रॉब्लम है, कल सवेरे बाली घर के बाहर मिलेगा सर.
Fantastic. That is the camaraderie of army. In fact, not only Bali, Gaurav, even the people around you from the army fraternity.
Yes sir, this Sinha and all that sir, जितने भी कोचमेट हैं, चक्रवर्ती and all that, ये इनको मैं बोल दूंगा सर, ये सवेरे आ जाए. मेरे यूनिट के ऑफिसर्स सर, I mean all my unit officers and also sir, General Mishra is there sir, and he just retired as Quartermaster General of the Indian Army sir.
Okay.
He's Lieutenant General Shashank Mishra sir. He's from Satra sir, and Colonel Rawat is here in Delhi sir, Colonel D.S. Rawat. He's my first company commander. All these people sir, मतलब needless to say, मैं एक बार ये बोलता हूँ कि सर मुझे प्रॉब्लम है, तो उनका पहला सवाल ये होता है, हाँ बच्चे क्या हो गया? And they are always there sir. So
Gaurav, what you mentioned this ki never give up attitude has brought you where you are today. And I know that you worked in the Wipro, you worked in EY, Hutch, and then CEO of a smart group, which is a Singapore-based company. And finally, one day when you were sitting in your office, you read some incident about this Burhan Wani of Srinagar, who was the Hizbul terrorist. And your warrior woke up in you, because which never died. As a soldier in you always remained, though you left it, but soldier was always there within you. And you couldn't tolerate those protests by the people of the J&K Valley. And then finally you wrote some article, and that article became viral, and finally the people realized the importance. And then there were no looking back. So
yes sir, actually it was not protest sir. Because I believe that peaceful protest is the right of every Indian, sir. Whether they're in J&K, whether in Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan, Delhi, Punjab, UP, anywhere. Peaceful protest is. I have a problem with violent protests, but it was not about. It was on a television channel, sir, where one of the panelists, who was a Hurriyat member, sir.
Okay.
He said that, or a Hurriyat sympathizer at least, if not a member.
Yeah.
And he said that Burhan Wani was like Shahid Bhagat Singh, sir. So that was very humiliating, sir. Because you cannot compare a dirtbag terrorist, Burhan Wani, to somebody as great as Shahid Bhagat Singh, sir. आप कैसे compare कर सकते हैं ये तो?
No way. No Indian will.
Sir, I felt very upset, sir. So I went and I wrote this article, and then from next morning, sir, this entire media tamasha started, sir, from next day.
So how was the feeling that moment? I think you wrote somewhere, the one bullet, one enemy, means that is what the army is all about.
No, sir, the television anchors were asking me कि army ने arrest क्यों नहीं करा बुरहान को, तो हमने बोला, अब sir, actually क्या है कि when I was in the army, sir, I was the company commander.
Yes.
और मेरा दिमागी company commander वाला है ना sir, they expect me to think like a corps. How can I think like a corps commander? I don't have that kind of intellectual thinking.
I know.
So I said, अब मुझे जो unit में सिखाया, मेरी unit ने क्या सिखाया sir? मुझे what did 17 Kumaon teach me? 17 Kumaon from day one they taught me एक गोली एक दुश्मन. मेरे कंपनी कमांडर ने सिखाया, मेरे सीईओ ने सिखाया, मेरे सीनियर सबऑर्डिनेट ने सिखाया. तो अगर आप मुझे बोलेंगे कि बुरहान को क्यों मारा, अरे मुझे सिखाया, तुमने गोली चलाना सिखाया, तो मेरे सामने आया, मैंने मार दिया, बिकॉज दैट इज व्हाट यू ट्रेन मी फॉर। एकेडमी में हमें क्या सिखाया सर, यही सिखाया। दे एक्सपेक्ट द आर्मी टू गो स्टैंड इन फ्रंट ऑफ द टेररिस्ट और फिर उसको एक लोरी सुनाओ कि बेटा देर हो गई, अब सो जा आराम से। ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता, बिकॉज ये हमारी ट्रेनिंग तो है नहीं, वी डोंट नो हाउ टू अरेस्ट। तो they said कि no, army should not have done it, it's very bad. I said then you should not have called the army.
Yes, you should not. Very true.
अगर आप हथौड़ा मारेंगे तो कुछ ना कुछ तो टूटेगा सर।
I agree, and that is where I think whole hangama took place, and finally you got no looking back, and that was the first breakthrough in your life, and that is where your Republic media picked you up. You were invited to speak UK Parliament, House of Commons. Also, you spoke in Oxford University. So, just share that. What must be the feeling, Gaurav, that kahan se kahan, that jump, or I must say that traversing from what path and where you reached. Just share with the viewers.
सर कुछ नहीं सर, मैं गया वहां पे तो मुझे एक फोन आया यूके से कि आप कैन यू कम ओवर। आई सेड यस। डू यू हैव अ वीजा? आई सेड नो। डू यू हैव अ पासपोर्ट? आई सेड यस। तो मुझे समझ में नहीं आया सर, बिकॉज दे सेड कि कश्मीर एक्सेशन है, कश्मीर एक्सेशन डे पे आपको बोलना है, एंड दिस विल बी इन द यूके पार्लियामेंट।
So, Gaurav, I would like to ask you here, was it a fallout of that same letter which you have written?
No, sir. This was more than a year after the letter, sir.
Okay.
लेटर मैंने जुलाई 2016 में लिखा था, ये हुआ था अक्टूबर 2017।
हाँ, 17 में हुआ है। I think Oxford and both UK Parliament called you in 2017.
हाँ, इट वाज द सेम ट्रिप सर। मैं हफ्ते 8 दिन के लिए गया था तब। तो सर वहां पे फिर बातचीत हुई ना सर इन लोगों से। तो वहां पे मैं यहाँ पे जब इंडिया में आई सेड ब्रीफिंग किससे लेनी है, तो मैं सुषमा स्वराज जी से मिलने के लिए गया, तो शी वाज नॉट अवेलेबल सर, शी वाज ट्रैवलिंग सर। सो देन मैं फंस गया। तो मेरा क्या है कि जब मैं फंस जाता हूँ देन वन गोज बैक टू द फौज सर, क्योंकि फंस गया। सो आई रिक्वेस्टेड फॉर एन इंटरव्यू विद जनरल रावत सर। ही वाज द चीफ सर, and very sweet sir, God bless his soul sir, General Rawat. I said, sir, I've been called to the British Parliament sir to speak, and I've just come to take some guidance from you. And first thing he looks at me and says, अबे तुझे किसने बुला लिया ब्रिटिश पार्लियामेंट? I said, sir, अब बुला लिया सर, आप बताओ क्या करना है। So he said, करना कुछ नहीं है गौरव, there is no narrative, the only narrative is the truth. सच बोलो वहां पे जो कश्मीर में। आई सेड सर, ह्यूमन राइट्स वायलेशंस के बारे में क्या बोलना है? कह रहा हमने किए हैं ह्यूमन राइट्स वायलेशंस, गलतियां हुई हैं, हमने लोगों को सजाएं दी हैं, परफेक्ट हम भी नहीं है, हम पूरों को नहीं दे पाए सजा, पर जितना दे पाए हमने करी है, और हमसे गलतियां हुई हैं कश्मीर में। जनरल रावत ने बोला, मैंने जाके पार्लियामेंट में बोल दिया कि ऐसा ऐसा हुआ है। एंड जनरल रावत ऑल्सो टोल्ड मी वन थिंग कि व्हाट आर यू वेयरिंग टू द पार्लियामेंट? आई सेड सर आई एम गोइंग टू बी वेयरिंग अ सूट। क्या सूट तो पहनेगा ही, लेकिन टाई, आई सेड सर आई विल वेयर द रेजिमेंटल टाई। इज वेरी गुड। उनका ये था कि कुमाऊं की टाई पहन के जाना, and talk about the history of the Indian Army and what it is doing in Kashmir. I did exactly that, sir.
Yeah. Wonderful advice.
Awesome.
And what talk the Oxford University? Let the viewers know.
Oxford University was, sir. Oxford University was. It was more like a debate, sir. There were people in the audience, and it was, points of view about Kashmir, and there were some Pakistanis who were saying something, and we were saying the other thing, and उनकी आपस में बातचीत चल रही थी। और वही किंग्स कॉलेज लंदन में भी यही हुआ सर।
ओके।
तो ये सब चल रहा था दोनों जगह। इट वाज प्रीटी, किंग्स कॉलेज वाज मोर लाइवली सर, more halla gulla there in King's College. Oxford was very quiet and
okay. Acha, so it was in Oxford as well as King's College?
Yes sir, both places sir.
Okay. Gaurav, you see, it is always said that dreamers are the achievers, and you are the dreamer. You have been dreaming and dreaming wilder dreams, whatever can be there. And as you have already said somewhere that big invention took place in the garage. Okay. And probably you don't have a garage, but you are dreaming and you wanted to sometime speak about that non-existent garage. Okay. So what is your dream? In fact, you know, I know that you are editor-in-chief of the Chanakya Forum. That is one of your dreams, but you are having some wildest dream thereafter. And you wanted to talk sometime in future about that non-existent garage. Would you like to share that thought with the people who are listening?
किताब लिखूंगा सर.
And those who wanted to do something in their life, they also have a dream.
किताब लिखूंगा सर. I'll write a book, sir. And in fact, I want to write 2-3 books, but start off with one book, sir, initially. एक अच्छी किताब लिखनी है, sir. Not just, there are many people who write books, sir, and most of the books are just like, they keep on this thing. I want to write a book that will be remembered by a lot of people, a true story that will mean something to people, sir. And I've already started work on it, sir. So let's see where it takes me, sir. God willing, take this.
Okay. So it's a real life stories.
Yes, sir.
That's good. That's a big dream. There definitely is a big dream. Would you like to tell something about your this political, strategic, and security-based, this your Chanakya Forum, which is your dream project?
Sir, Chanakya Forum essentially is geostrategy, national security, foreign policy. And we don't have any journalists working for us, sir. We have the finest minds writing for us. So people write for us, sir. We publish their articles, and we also have Chanakya Dialogues, sir. While Chanakya Dialogues is a YouTube channel, Chanakya Dialogues also, we held our last event at the India International Center on the 6th of August, sir, where a lot of prominent, credible, and intellectual names of this. So we had Air Chief Marshal Arup Raha, sir. We had Lieutenant General Syed Atta Hasnain, sir. We had Lieutenant General Vinod Bhatia. We had Bharat Karnat, sir. We had Sushant Sareen. Okay. And we had a lot of people, sir. We had Vice Admiral Anup Singh, sir.
Okay.
And we had General Sabarwal was there, sir. And sir, I mean, a lot of people were there who are people that I look up to, sir. People who have whom I try to learn from, sir. And all these people are decades senior to me, sir. मैं सीखता रहता हूँ, उनसे बातचीत करता रहता हूँ. And one thing I've realized, sir, that all of them, sir, have been very kind, sir. Especially the Fauji, sir. They've been very kind. Senior officers, they've been very kind, sir.
Naturally.
So अभी भी उनकी, they have left the army, I've left the army, but that grooming of the youngster, na, sir, वो करते रहते हैं, sir. So I sometimes I feel I take undue advantage. So मैं थोड़ा सा फायदा भी उठा लेता हूँ, sir.
Why not? Senior is always a senior, and one should take advantage of that. There is no doubt in that. Gaurav, though you are always in the TV debates and all, and you are a very good speaker. Everything is there. But I believe for the listeners, you would like to tell, because you still have a element of fear, initial element of fear whenever you speak something on some platform. Okay. So I just wanted to give this learning to the viewers, how to overcome that initial fear when you speak. And I think there is no better than you, you got everything, but despite that, everybody feels, because it's an emotion, you can't control it. You have to overcome it. So can you just tell for the viewers?
नहीं sir, I definitely sir, मैं तो अभी बहुत डर लगता है whenever I go on stage. The first 2-3 minutes are terrible. I drink water. I start speaking very softly. I mumble, sir. I jumble my words. I forget my lines. शुरू में 2-3 minutes. But then I tell myself that, these people have invited me on the stage because they feel that I know more than them about this topic.
Absolutely. That is the best. Yeah.
So, and you have prepared well. So go ahead. मेरे पास एक और बड़ी ताकत है, sir. I think this is the only positive thing that I have.
Yeah.
बाकी तो which I have is that मुझे इस चीज का डर नहीं लगता कि अगर मैं कोई सवाल पूछूंगा तो लोग हंसेंगे मेरे ऊपर, sir. I don't have that fear that if I say something people will laugh.
Fear of judgment.
fear of judgment, sir, मुझे तो
no fear of judgment, and that is a very
no.
important thing. That is a very important thing if you want to overcome your anything you want to win over it. That is you should never bother about the fears. And fear as such is the false evidence appearing real. That is the word of fear.
Sir, I'll take your leave, sir, because I have to go now. I'm live, sir, on television.
Yeah, I agree with you, Gaurav, and thank you so much. I will just last one line with which I will say. You have mentioned somewhere that one of the couplet of your friend that जूते फटे पहनकर आकाश पे चढ़े थे, सपने हमारे हरदम औकात से बड़े थे. So what is that सपने जो आकाश से बड़े हैं, and still you are working toward that? This is your favorite couplet.
Yes, sir. ये मनोज मुंतशिर है, sir. He's a friend of mine, sir. ये फिल्मों के लिए गाने लिखते हैं.
Yeah.
और इन्होंने वो गाना भी लिखा था, तेरी मिट्टी केसरी का जो सॉन्ग है, sir.
I know.
हाँ, तो मनोज ने लिखा था, सर. तो मनोज भाई is a friend of mine, so he wrote this शेर, सर, कि जूते फटे पहनकर आकाश पर चढ़े थे, सपने हमारे हरदम औकात से बड़े थे, सर काटने से पहले दुश्मन ने सर झुकाया, देखा जब हम निहत्ते मैदान में खड़े थे. Sir, basically, this is basically that. Don't be afraid to dream.
Yes.
और सपना ही देखना है तो फिर बड़ा देखो, क्योंकि फिर वो सपना कैसा जो बड़ा ना हो.
Absolutely. Very right, Gaurav. I think.
बिल्कुल सर.
Yeah.
सपने में कंजूसी नहीं होनी चाहिए, सर. सपने में कंजूसी नहीं होनी चाहिए.
बिल्कुल सही बात है. And that is your beacon of hope, and that is what is taking you step by step ahead. And
yes, sir.
So, Gaurav, last word to any viewers. Anything you would like to? Last word.
So just live your dreams and don't be scared of people being judgmental, because if you work, if you have passion, if you're fearless, you will have the last laugh. आखिरी में सिर्फ आप ही हंसोगे और सब बाकी सब रोएंगे, तो याद रखना, लगे रहो, पीछे हो जाएगा.
लगे रहो मुन्ना भाई. Very right, Gaurav, and I fully agree with what you said, and thank you so much on behalf of me and my audience, and it's a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, and thank you for inviting me, sir.